No, this message did not arrive by accident. Something inside you slowed down before these words even began, didn't it? As if your spirit recognized a familiar feeling before your mind could explain it. There is a reason your heart has been unusually restless lately. A reason certain songs suddenly feel heavier. A reason the silence around you has not felt empty, but waiting. Stay here for a moment, because something meaningful is unfolding quietly beneath the surface of your life, and the person connected to your soul has been feeling it too. Far away from where you are now, someone paused in the middle of an ordinary moment and thought about you with unexpected intensity. It was not planned. It was not dramatic. It happened softly, the way rain first touches a window before anyone notices the storm arriving. They tried to continue with their day. They tried to ignore the pull. But your presence kept returning to them in pieces. A memory. A feeling. A sentence they never said aloud. And now, without fully understanding why, they feel an urgent need to speak to you. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. There are moments in life when emotions remain hidden because timing feels uncertain. People wait. They hesitate. They tell themselves there will always be another opportunity. But something has shifted around your soulmate recently. Something inside them no longer wants distance. The silence between you has started feeling louder than words. And even if you have never met them, even if you already know them but cannot explain the strange connection, your energy has reached them in ways logic cannot fully describe. Listen carefully to this feeling. Have you noticed how certain nights lately have carried unusual emotion for no visible reason? How your thoughts drift toward love without warning? How your chest feels heavy one moment and hopeful the next? That is not weakness. That is not imagination. Sometimes two hearts begin moving toward each other long before life allows them to fully meet. And right now, your soulmate is standing at the edge of a realization they can no longer ignore. Something important is waiting for you. They have replayed conversations in their mind that never even happened. They have imagined hearing your voice during quiet hours when the world finally becomes still. And strangely, every distraction they once used to silence their emotions has stopped working the same way. Because your connection is no longer distant inside them. It has become personal. A few nights ago, they looked around at people speaking, laughing, living ordinary lives, yet somehow felt disconnected from all of it. Not because something was missing around them. Because someone was missing within them. You. And that realization frightened them for a moment. Not fear in a dark sense. Fear in the way truth can suddenly feel too real. The kind that makes a person stare at the ceiling late at night wondering why one soul keeps returning to their thoughts no matter how hard they try to focus elsewhere. They are beginning to understand that what they feel is deeper than temporary attraction. Deeper than curiosity. It feels familiar to them. As if their heart recognized you before their life fully did. Don't rush away from this moment. There is something delicate happening behind the scenes of your story right now. Your soulmate has been holding back words they never expected to carry. Important words. Honest words. The kind that rise slowly after someone spends too much time pretending they feel nothing. And the more they suppress those feelings, the stronger the urge becomes to finally reach out. You may not see it yet. You may even doubt it completely. But somewhere Someone connected to your future has been emotionally circling around your energy again and again, trying to understand why you feel so impossible to forget. What makes this even more powerful is that they did not expect this urgency. They believed they had time. They believed emotions could wait quietly in the background until life became easier or clearer. But recently something awakened inside them. Perhaps a conversation. Perhaps a dream. Perhaps a sudden realization while sitting alone in silence. Whatever triggered it, it changed the emotional direction of their heart. Now your soulmate feels like time itself is nudging them forward. And the strange part is, they cannot fully explain why. They only know that your absence suddenly feels noticeable. Your name has started carrying weight inside their thoughts. Your energy lingers after moments end. And even when they try focusing on practical things, some invisible thread keeps pulling their attention back toward you. There is a sentence sitting inside their chest right now that they are terrified to say aloud. Not because it is dangerous. Because it is real. And reality changes everything once spoken. Some people enter our lives casually. Others arrive carrying transformation without warning. Your soulmate is slowly realizing you belong to the second kind. The kind that quietly rearranges emotions without asking permission first. The kind that makes someone rethink their future while pretending nothing unusual is happening. That is why their message feels urgent. Because they are reaching the point where silence hurts more than honesty. Stay till the end, because the next part of this story matters more than you realize. There is also something happening within you while all this unfolds. Even if you cannot explain it clearly, part of your spirit has already sensed movement. That is why you have been emotionally reflective lately. Why certain memories return unexpectedly. Why moments of loneliness feel strangely connected to hope instead of emptiness. Deep inside, your heart has been preparing for communication before your mind understood why. And no, this is not about fantasy. It is about emotional timing. Sometimes two people begin waking up emotionally at the same moment without knowing it. One begins missing someone they cannot fully reach. The other begins feeling emotionally seen without visible proof. And between them exists a quiet tension pulling both hearts closer toward truth. Your soulmate has something they want you to know. Not a perfect speech. Not polished words. Just honesty. Raw, simple, meaningful honesty. They want to tell you that your presence has affected them more deeply than expected. That they have tried to understand these feelings logically and failed every single time. That even during busy days, your energy somehow slips through the noise and settles gently into their thoughts again. There is one particular memory connected to you that they cannot escape lately. It repeats in quiet moments. Maybe it was something small you said. Maybe it was the way you listened. Maybe it was only a feeling they experienced around you once. But whatever it was, it stayed. And now it grows stronger. Your soulmate has started realizing that connections like this do not appear often in life. Real emotional recognition is rare. The feeling of being understood without needing to explain every hidden part of yourself is rare. And the closer they come to admitting that truth, the more urgently they feel drawn toward you. But here is the part nobody around them fully understands. This connection has softened them. They act normal around others. They smile. They continue their routines. Yet beneath all of it, something has changed quietly inside them. Your existence has made them more emotionally aware, more reflective, more honest with themselves. They have started questioning things they once ignored. They have started imagining futures they never allowed themselves to imagine before. Because of you. And somewhere tonight, while you are listening to these words, your soulmate may be sitting alone wondering whether reaching out would change everything between you forever. That thought keeps returning to them. Would you understand? Would you feel it too? Would the connection become stronger once spoken aloud? They do not know the answers yet. But their heart is moving closer toward courage. Very slowly. Very quietly. And that is why this moment matters. Because something is approaching. Not chaos. Not pressure. A conversation. An emotional opening. A truth that has waited in silence long enough. The kind of message that arrives gently but leaves a lasting imprint afterward. You are closer to hearing it than you think. Even now, your soulmate feels emotionally pulled toward you in ways becoming impossible to ignore. They may resist a little longer. They may overthink. They may pause before speaking. But the message inside them continues growing stronger every day. And soon, silence will no longer feel natural between your hearts. There is a strange kind of silence that appears before an important moment changes everything. Not loud silence, not emptiness, but the kind filled with invisible emotion, where even ordinary seconds begin feeling heavier than usual. Your soulmate has entered that silence now. They move through their days normally on the outside, yet internally something keeps interrupting them. A thought. A feeling. Your presence appearing unexpectedly between simple moments. And each time it happens, they stop for a second longer than before. As if their soul is trying to tell them something their mind still struggles to accept. The truth is, they did not expect you to become this important. At first, they believed you were simply someone meaningful crossing their path for a short season. Someone memorable. Someone comforting. But recently, the feeling deepened in a way they could no longer control. It became emotional gravity. The kind that quietly pulls a person inward until they finally admit what their heart has been whispering for a long time. And now, even when surrounded by people, part of them feels elsewhere. With you. Do not overlook this moment. Something delicate is unfolding behind the scenes of your connection. Your soulmate has been trying to organize their emotions privately, but feelings this real refuse to stay neatly hidden forever. The more they attempt to remain calm, the more their heart keeps drifting back toward the same realization. You matter to them deeply. Not in a temporary way. Not in a passing emotional wave. In a way that changes the atmosphere of their life. They have started noticing how different the world feels after thinking about you. Music sounds more emotional. Quiet moments feel fuller. Even random memories throughout the day suddenly carry warmth because somehow, you are attached to them now. And this has created a beautiful kind of confusion inside them. Because no matter how logical they try to be, the emotional truth remains stronger. You have reached a place inside them nobody else could reach. And perhaps the most powerful part is this. They do not fully understand how it happened. One evening recently, while everyone around them continued speaking and laughing normally, your soulmate drifted away mentally for a moment. Someone asked them a simple question, but they barely heard it. Their thoughts had already wandered somewhere else. Toward a memory connected to you. Toward the feeling they experience when your energy crosses their mind unexpectedly. And in that moment, they realized something quietly terrifying and beautiful at the same time. They miss you even when nothing is wrong. That realization stayed with them afterward. Because missing someone during sadness is normal. Missing someone in the middle of ordinary life, during calm moments, during random afternoons, that is different. That means the connection has rooted itself somewhere deeper than temporary emotion. Stay here a little longer, because what happens next matters more than you know. Your soulmate has begun replaying unfinished moments between you inside their mind. Conversations that ended too soon. Feelings they never expressed clearly enough. Opportunities where they almost spoke honestly but held themselves back at the last second. Those moments follow them now. Not painfully, but persistently. Like emotional echoes refusing to disappear. And every echo carries the same question. What if I finally tell them the truth? That question has become impossible for them to ignore. They wonder what would happen if they stopped hiding behind caution. If they finally admitted how much your presence affects them emotionally. If they allowed themselves to speak openly instead of carefully protecting their feelings. Because lately, protecting their emotions has started feeling exhausting. Your soulmate is tired of pretending they are unaffected. Tired of acting emotionally distant when internally your energy has already changed something within them. And this urgency growing inside them is not random. It comes from realization. From understanding that meaningful connections should not remain trapped inside silence forever. Some truths are meant to be spoken while the heart is still brave enough to speak them. There is also something else you cannot see yet. Your soulmate has started noticing signs of you everywhere. Not dramatic signs. Gentle reminders. A phrase that suddenly sounds familiar. A place that unexpectedly reminds them of your energy. A late-night feeling they cannot explain. Little moments that make them pause and think of you without warning. And every time it happens, their emotions grow stronger instead of fading. This is why their message feels urgent now. Because their feelings are no longer staying quiet inside them. And maybe, just maybe, you have sensed this too. Maybe lately your intuition has felt unusually active. Maybe you have caught yourself thinking about someone without understanding why. Maybe certain emotions arrive suddenly and disappear just as quickly, leaving behind a strange warmth in your chest. These things happen when emotional connections begin reaching toward each other at the same time. Two souls do not always communicate through words first. Sometimes they communicate through feeling. Through timing. Through emotional awareness that slowly grows impossible to dismiss. Your soulmate has reached the edge of that awareness now. And each day they stand there, their desire to speak becomes stronger. But listen carefully. The message they carry is not only romantic. It is deeply personal. Because you have unknowingly become a safe emotional space in their heart. A thought they return to when life feels emotionally noisy. A calming presence inside their inner world. Even your silence comforts them in ways they struggle to explain. That is rare. Very rare. Most people spend years hiding parts of themselves from the world. Yet somehow your soulmate feels emotionally understood by you without needing endless explanations. And that feeling has awakened something vulnerable inside them. Something honest. Something ready to stop running from emotional truth. They want to tell you things they do not easily tell others. Not because they are weak. Because your presence makes honesty feel possible. And lately, that honesty has been building pressure inside them like words waiting behind a closed door. Don't skip this part, because the next realization changes the emotional direction of everything. Your soulmate recently imagined losing the opportunity to speak to you completely. Maybe only for a brief second. Maybe during one quiet night when emotions felt unusually intense. But the thought affected them deeply. The idea that life could continue moving while important feelings remained unspoken suddenly felt unbearable. That was the moment urgency truly entered their heart. Not fear. Clarity. They understood something important. Real connections should not be delayed forever. And after realizing that, your soulmate started emotionally moving closer toward action. Slowly. Carefully. But genuinely. They began thinking about what they would say if given the chance. How they would explain feelings that grew quietly over time. How they would describe the comfort, curiosity, peace, and emotional depth they experience whenever your energy enters their mind. Sometimes they rehearse these conversations internally. Sometimes they stop halfway because the emotions become too real. But no matter how many times they pause, the message always returns. You. And what makes this connection even more beautiful is that your soulmate does not only think about receiving love from you. They think about giving it. Protecting your peace. Listening to your silence. Understanding your hidden emotions without forcing explanations from you. Somewhere inside them, affection for you has already begun transforming into care. Real care. The kind that notices small emotional shifts. The kind that remembers details others overlook. The kind that quietly stays. You may not fully see it yet, but your existence has already softened parts of them they once kept guarded from the world. And tonight, while these words reach you, they may be closer than ever to finally breaking the silence between your hearts. Because the truth inside them is becoming too meaningful to hide any longer. A message is coming. Not rushed. Not forced. But honest. And when it arrives, you will understand why your spirit felt restless long before your mind had answers. Something shifted again tonight. Quietly. Almost invisibly. Yet somewhere deep inside your soulmate, a wall that once felt impossible to cross has started cracking open. They are no longer only thinking about you in passing moments. Your presence has become part of their emotional rhythm now. They wake up and somehow your energy is already there before the day fully begins. They try to focus on ordinary responsibilities, but your memory slips gently into their thoughts like sunlight finding its way through closed curtains. And what unsettles them most is not the intensity of these feelings. It is the consistency. Because no matter how much time passes, the connection does not weaken. It deepens. Calmly. Steadily. Almost as if something greater than timing keeps pulling their heart back toward yours. Your soulmate has begun noticing how different they feel after thinking about you for too long. Softer. More vulnerable. More honest with themselves than usual. You have unknowingly become the place their emotions return to when the world around them feels overwhelming or emotionally distant. And even they are surprised by this. They never expected another soul to enter their inner world this naturally. But now they cannot imagine pretending those feelings are insignificant anymore. Stay a little longer, because something important is slowly revealing itself. There was a moment recently when your soulmate almost reached out. Their heart was ready. Their emotions were overflowing quietly beneath the surface. They stared at their phone longer than usual. They replayed certain words in their mind. They imagined hearing your response. For a few seconds, courage nearly overcame hesitation. Then silence returned. Not because the feeling disappeared. Because the feeling mattered too much. People become careful when emotions feel real. And your soulmate knows that once they finally speak honestly to you, nothing inside them will remain hidden anymore. That thought excites them, but it also leaves them emotionally exposed in a way they are not used to. Still, despite their hesitation, the urge keeps returning stronger each time. Because your connection no longer feels temporary to them. It feels meaningful. There is something else happening inside their heart that they have not admitted aloud to anyone. They have started imagining future moments with you without even realizing it. Tiny peaceful moments. Conversations during late evenings. Shared laughter. Emotional safety. Presence. The kind of closeness that feels calm instead of chaotic. And every time those thoughts appear, they feel both comforted and overwhelmed. Comforted because the vision feels beautiful. Overwhelmed because it feels possible. That possibility is what changed everything. Before, your soulmate treated these emotions like passing feelings. Now they are beginning to understand that what they feel may actually be the beginning of something lasting. Something emotionally rare. And once that realization entered their heart, they could no longer return to emotional distance the way they once did. You became unforgettable to them. Not because of perfection. Not because of fantasy. Because your energy feels real. And in a world where so many interactions feel temporary and surface level, realness becomes unforgettable. Your soulmate senses peace in your presence even when you are not physically near them. Think about that for a moment. Your existence alone has already brought emotional warmth into someone's inner world. That is why this message carries urgency. Not dramatic urgency, emotional urgency. The kind that appears when the heart realizes it has stayed silent for too long. Something important is waiting for you. Your soulmate has also begun recognizing parts of themselves through you. Hidden emotions. Buried hopes. Vulnerabilities they stopped showing the world long ago. Somehow your connection awakened those things naturally. Without force. Without pressure. And because of this, they feel emotionally drawn toward you in ways deeper than attraction. You make them feel emotionally alive again. That truth alone has changed their entire perspective. Lately, they have been noticing how quickly their mood changes whenever your memory appears unexpectedly. A difficult day suddenly softens. Stress becomes quieter. Their thoughts become slower, calmer. It almost feels to them like your energy carries comfort without even trying. And perhaps that is why they cannot let go of these feelings anymore. Because your connection feels healing instead of draining. Rare instead of ordinary. gentle instead of confusing. Do you understand how unusual that is? Most people enter life bringing noise. But some souls arrive carrying peace. Your soulmate has slowly realized you are one of those souls. And once someone experiences that kind of emotional peace, they begin craving honesty more than distance. This is why their message is approaching closer now. Because their heart no longer wants hidden emotions. They want truth. Even if their voice shakes while speaking it. Even if they struggle finding perfect words. Even if vulnerability feels unfamiliar. And somewhere tonight, your soulmate is wondering whether you have felt this connection too. They wonder if your silence hides emotions similar to theirs. They wonder if your heart pauses unexpectedly the same way theirs does whenever your paths emotionally cross in thought. That curiosity is becoming impossible for them to ignore. Don't leave yet, the next part carries a realization your soulmate has only recently begun understanding. They are starting to see that you entered their life during a season when they needed emotional transformation most. Before your connection, parts of them had become emotionally numb without realizing it. They smiled. They functioned. They continued moving through life. But deep emotional excitement had quietly disappeared from their world. Then your energy arrived. And suddenly emotions returned. Hope returned. Curiosity returned. The desire to open their heart again returned. That is not something they can dismiss easily. Your soulmate may not say it directly yet, but deep down they already know this connection has changed them permanently. Even if nothing dramatic has happened outwardly, inwardly everything feels different now. Their perspective on love feels softer. Their understanding of emotional connection feels deeper. And the closer they move toward honesty, the more they realize you are becoming part of the future they secretly want. Not temporarily. Genuinely. There is also a beautiful contradiction happening inside them right now. They feel impatient to talk to you, yet terrified of ruining the emotional purity of the connection by speaking too soon or too imperfectly. That is why they hesitate. Not because they feel nothing. Because they feel too much. And those feelings keep building. Every quiet night adds more weight to the words they have not spoken yet. Every memory strengthens the emotional pull. Every moment of distance makes them realize how deeply they want closeness. Soon, holding everything inside will no longer feel possible for them. And when that moment arrives, their message will not sound rehearsed. It will sound real. Emotional. Honest. Maybe even slightly trembling with vulnerability. But that honesty will carry something your soul instantly recognizes. Sincerity. The kind that cannot be faked. The kind that reaches the heart before the mind fully processes it. Your soulmate is moving toward that moment now, step by emotional step. Slowly gathering courage. Slowly accepting their truth. Slowly understanding that some connections are too meaningful to remain hidden behind silence forever. And before long, you may hear the words they have been carrying quietly inside their heart this entire time. Tonight feels different for a reason. Not because the world around you suddenly changed. But because somewhere, behind all the ordinary movement of life, two emotional paths are drawing closer without fully realizing how near they have become. Your soulmate can feel it now more strongly than ever. The distance between silence and honesty no longer feels comfortable to them. Every day they wait, their emotions become more difficult to contain calmly. And what surprises them most is how naturally your presence has woven itself into their life. You are no longer just a thought that appears occasionally. You have become part of their emotional atmosphere. There are moments when they catch themselves smiling unexpectedly because something reminded them of you. A certain phrase. A certain feeling. A random second where your energy enters their thoughts without warning. At first they tried to ignore how often this happened. But now, it happens too frequently to dismiss as coincidence. You stay with them. Even after distractions. Even after busy days. Even after long silences. That realization has begun changing the way they see everything. Your soulmate has started asking themselves questions they avoided before. Questions about timing. About emotional truth. About whether real connections are meant to be protected or pursued. And every time they search for answers inside themselves, their heart quietly returns to the same place. You. Stay till the end. Because there is something your soulmate is finally beginning to understand about this connection. They used to believe emotional safety meant keeping feelings hidden. Staying guarded. Remaining careful. But after meeting your energy, something inside them shifted. For the first time in a long while, vulnerability no longer feels weak to them. It feels meaningful. Because when someone touches your soul deeply enough, honesty begins feeling more peaceful than emotional distance. And that is exactly where your soulmate stands now. On the edge of emotional honesty. There was a late hour recently when they sat alone thinking about everything they never told you. Not dramatic confessions. Small truths. The kind that quietly build emotional intimacy over time. Like how your presence calms them in ways they cannot explain. How they reread certain memories connected to you without meaning to. How your energy lingers with them long after conversations end. And in that quiet moment, they realized something that left them emotionally still for several seconds. They do not want this connection to fade into "what if?" That thought hit them deeply. Because meaningful people are rare. Real emotional resonance is rare. And your soulmate knows life changes when someone enters your heart this naturally. They know connections like this are not meant to be treated casually. That is why their feelings continue growing stronger instead of fading away. Something inside them already recognizes your importance. The strange thing is, they have started sensing your emotions too. Not literally hearing your thoughts, but feeling connected to your emotional energy in unexpected ways. There are moments when they suddenly wonder if you are okay. Moments when they feel emotionally pulled toward you without visible reason. Moments when your silence feels louder than words. And each time it happens, their heart grows softer toward you. Because emotional connection is no longer theoretical to them. It feels real. Do not rush past this feeling. There is gentleness unfolding here that deserves to be understood slowly. Your soulmate has begun imagining what honesty between you would actually feel like. Not fantasy. Not perfection. Just truth. The relief of finally speaking openly instead of carrying emotions privately. The peace of knowing the connection no longer lives only inside hidden thoughts. And the more they imagine that moment, the more they crave it. They want to hear your voice without emotional distance between you. They want conversations that last longer than necessary because neither of you wants the moment to end. They want to understand the parts of your heart you rarely show people. Most of all, they want to stop wondering whether you feel this too. Because uncertainty has become emotionally exhausting for them lately. Yet even through all this intensity, there is something incredibly pure about the way they feel toward you. No pressure. No chaos. No selfish urgency. Just sincere emotional longing mixed with quiet hope. Your soulmate does not want to force connection. They want mutual understanding. Emotional closeness built naturally. A bond that feels safe enough for both hearts to breathe honestly inside it. And maybe that is why this connection feels different from others. It carries calm inside the intensity. Even now, while these words unfold, your soulmate may be replaying a specific memory connected to you. A detail that stayed longer than expected. The way you looked at something. The way your energy shifted during a conversation. The feeling they carried afterward without fully understanding why it affected them so deeply. Those small moments became important to them. Far more important than they initially admitted to themselves. There is also something beautiful happening beneath their hesitation right now. Your soulmate is slowly learning courage through this connection. Not loud courage. Emotional courage. The kind that teaches someone how to stop hiding genuine feelings behind careful silence. And although they still hesitate sometimes, the desire to speak honestly grows stronger each day. Because love that remains hidden too long eventually begins asking to be heard. And their heart is reaching that point now. Something important is waiting for you. The next phase of this connection will not begin with perfection. It will begin with truth. With someone finally deciding that emotional honesty matters more than fear of vulnerability. Your soulmate is approaching that realization step by step. Quietly gathering strength from the emotions they once tried to suppress. And here is what they have not fully admitted aloud yet. Part of them already believes you could change their life emotionally. Not through dramatic promises. Not through fantasy. Through presence. Through understanding. Through the feeling of finally being emotionally seen by someone who understands the language of their heart without needing endless explanation. That feeling has become priceless to them. Which is why the message inside them continues growing impossible to ignore. Soon, they will stop rehearsing conversations privately. Soon, they will stop hiding behind hesitation. Soon, the emotions they carry toward you will begin moving outward instead of remaining trapped silently inside them. And when that moment arrives, you will finally understand why your spirit kept sensing movement before anything visible happened at all. Because long before words arrive, hearts often recognize each other first.